Good evening, this is Dr. Do again, and this video is outside of medicine. Continue with reading Psalm. Today I'm going to read Psalm 18. Since Psalm 18 is very long, it's almost 2 pages longer than that, and because this is the dedication for to the Lord after after David became a king. So it's a very long summary of his life. So I'll just break down into 3 parts. Today I'll just read the first part and explain to it, and then I'll finish later on for the middle and the last part. So probably 3 videos on this Psalm 18. I'm going to read Psalm 18. For the director of music, of David, the servant of the Lord. He sang to the Lord the words of his song, when the Lord delivered him from the hand of all his enemies and from the hand of Saul. He said, I love you, O Lord, my strength. The Lord is my rock, my fortress, and my deliverer. My God is my rock, in whom I take refuge. He is my shield and the horn of my salvation, my stronghold. I call to the Lord, who is worthy of praise, and I am saved from my enemies. The cords of death entangled me. The torrent of destruction overwhelmed me. The cord of the grave coiled around me. The snares of death confronted me. In my distress I called to the Lord. I cried to my God for help. From his temple he heard my voice. My cry came before him into his ears. The earth trembled and quaked, and the foundations of the mountains shook. They trembled because he was angry. Smoke rose from his nostrils. Consuming fire came from his mouth. Burning coals blazed out of it. He parted the heavens and came down. Dark clouds were under his feet. He mounted the cherubim and flew. He soared on the wings of the wind. He made the darkness his covering, his canopy around him, the dark rain clouds of the sky. Out of the brightness of his presence, clouds advanced, with hailstones and bolts of lightning. The Lord thundered from heaven. The voice of the Most High resounded. He shot his arrows and scattered the enemies. Great bolts of lightning and routed them. The valleys of the sea were exposed, and the foundations of the earth are laid bare. At your rebuke, O Lord, at the blast of breath from your nostrils. So this is the first part. I'm going to stop here. So this is basically from the introduction of this Psalm 18. It says, for the director of music, of David, the servant of the Lord, he sang to the Lord the words of his song, when the Lord delivered him from the hand of all his enemies and from the hand of Saul. He said, and then the psalm is what he said. Obviously, this is the moment of victory in his whole life. I think the biggest victory. Of course, it's the message delivered must in multiple dimensions, stratified layers from the beginning of his career. We can say that he's stepping out to claim the first victory, and to the sufferings, the torments, the difficulties, the flee, and etc. It's so complicated. The time is less than 10 years, if I'm right, about 8 or 7 years. But still, it's because he has the dream. He was told he's going to be the king. It took him so long. Not just I was told to be a king. Tomorrow I became a king. It's not like that. So he has to. He had going through all of those process, the sufferings, like I said, the pains and the tears. So now is the moment, the big celebration. Let's see what he said. Okay, I love you, O Lord, my strength. The Lord is my rock, my fortress, my deliverer. My God is my rock, in whom I take refuge. He is my shield and the horn of my salvation, my stronghold. This is a praise, a great thanksgiving. I love you, O Lord, my strength. You are my strength. The Lord is my rock, my fortress, and my delivery. My God is my rock, and in whom I took refuge, and he is my shield, and the horn, and my salvation, my stronghold. He is everything. Without him, without me. Without him, I'm not going to be here today. That's basically a big acknowledgement, a great acknowledgement. For whom? Not for anybody, people around him, but for the Lord, the sovereign, the super sovereign Lord, whom he believed in. So that's the first acknowledgement for his victory. I call to the Lord, who is worthy of praise, and I am saved from my enemies. So why the God is so great? Why he so deserves such a praise and acknowledgement? Because I call to the Lord, who is worthy of praise. I am saved from enemies, because he saved me from my enemies. That's obviously, so he's the most worthy to be praised, or to be acknowledged, and to be exalted highly. Okay, and now saying the next will tell the story what happened to him, what God did to save him. So start with, the cords of death entangled me, the torrents of the destruction overwhelmed me, the cords of grave coiled around me, the snares of death confronted me. So basically, the God saved me from death. That's basically saying, because the cords of death entangled, I was entangled, almost died, and the torrent of destruction overwhelmed me, I was overwhelmed, and the cord of grave coiled around me, the grave, I was around the grave, almost dying condition. Snares of death confronted me, the death of snares, the hollow death snares at me. I'm ready to take you. So this is basically why he praised God so loudly, highly at the beginning of his speech, or his words. And then I cried to my God for help. From his temple he heard my voice. My cry came before him into his ears. So because of the situation, I was so distressed. I was near death, near dying. And I did not seek anything else but pray to the Lord, to the God. And he heard my voice from his temple. He heard my cry. He saw my tears. So this is what happened next. He calmed down. The Lord came down from the heaven, from the temple. And the earth trembled and it quaked. The foundations of the mountains shook. They trembled before he was angry. Smoke rose from his nostrils. Consuming fire came from his mouth. Burning coals blazed out of it. He parted the heavens and came down. Dark clouds were under his feet. He mounted the cherubim and flew. He soared on the wings of the wind. He made darkness his covering, his canopy around him, the dark green clouds of the sky, out the brightness of his presence, clouds of the west, and the hailstones and bolts of lightnings. The Lord thundered from heaven, the voice of the Most High resounded. He shot his arrows and scattered enemies, great bolts of lightning, and routed them. The valleys of the sea were exposed, the foundation of the earth laid bare. At your rebuke, O Lord, at the blast of earth from your nostril. So all of this is a long summary of what God did, descended from the heaven to help him with enormous, tremendous strength. The miraculous, which is miracles, happened because he did so many things. He had the smoke rose from his nostril, watched like fires and the weapons and the wings and kind of flying, and dispersed the dark and riding on the clouds and caused the bolts of the lightning, the thunders, etc., etc. And at your rebuke, O Lord, at the blast of breath from your nostril. So everything happened. It's like a magic, or the miracles, because of you, descended from your temple, come to help me through all of those natural, beyond human capacity. So that's why I win. So that's why at your rebuke, you rebuke my enemy with those supernatural powers. So that's why I win. Okay, so this is basically the first part of this Psalm 18. Summarize the greatest praise, and then the acknowledge what God did, and then the summary of what happened to him and what God did. Okay, so this is basically the faith, the thanksgiving, very strong feeling of thanksgiving, and the strong faith. Only you, when I'm in trouble, I'm near death, I called only you, and you listened to me, you hear my crying, you see my tears, and you came down from heaven and helped me, saved me through all of those supernatural sovereign power. So here I'm here present my thanksgiving, my faith. So I'll continue next time. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.